Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. Today is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday morning to you. I hope that your morning is going well. Today I'm going to be focusing on what I ate in a day, 1960s edition. So this was pretty good because I just actually was talking to my mom yesterday and she was like, oh yeah, because she would have grew up teenager in the 60s, and so doing these different time periods has been fun and just like a eye-opener into like what life was like. And a lot of you asked like, how did my kids feel about the foods? And so honestly, like it's been a change. Like Greg and I enjoyed like the meatloaf. They were like, ugh. We enjoy like the mashed potatoes. They're like, ugh. My kids just don't like mashed potatoes. I don't know why. Then it's things like the Jell-O. Yeah, no, that wasn't like Steven ate it. And like the rest were like, no, I can't do that anymore. Isn't that like calf lining, Mom? So I was like, which is funny because we have a Jell-O salad that we make with pureed pears and Cool Whip. We usually make it once a year at Thanksgiving, and they eat that. So, and then like the ambrosia salad, delicious. I loved it. I even told my mom, I was like she didn't put nuts in it because my brother was allergic to nuts. But I'm like, that was like game changer for that. And so she's like, oh yes, delicious. But like they didn't care about any of that. So it's been interesting going through and trying the foods out. Certain things they're like, yeah, no, Mom. So now we're on to the 60s. And so when I've been trying to do like, obviously the last few ones have been a little bit more like, all right, let's just try and make it. Well, I find my family's not eating it. So I'm definitely going to scale down on the size because I don't want to waste it and make it just because I don't know if they'll even love it. So today we're focusing on the 60s. And 60s were a time period where, you know, food was influenced by teenagers and the sugary junk food craze came through. Like in the 50s, we talked about that a little bit. It kind of was being invented and you had more cereal, things like that. Well, the 60s was like the fast paced and the, like instant stuff. Just add water to food and it's great. So like the instant oatmeal, those kind of things. But they also still had, you know, typical breakfast. Like breakfast didn't really change a whole lot. You know, it does now. I'm sure which time period, like everybody's the kale avocado toast, that it probably was in certain areas. And I guess it depends on where you live and how you were brought up, but that didn't catch on until much later because of the internet and showing the different delicious foods. It's funny how you just grow up eating a certain way and like don't even realize there's a whole world out there. I remember being a new mom and getting some book. I don't even know if it was Dr. Weston Price, I think his book was, and just reading the different things like natural foods and different things to feed your babies and your kids. And I was like, it was such a phenomenon to hear that and read that. And I was like, that is so weird. I remember reading that like years ago when it was a book because there was no internet. There was no like real quick search, what's the best thing? So just the way that technology has transformed the way that we eat, transformed, you know, our knowledge about things. You just grow up eating a certain way thinking that's it, that's healthy. And you don't, I guess you don't think it's not healthy. You just don't think much about it. I guess you just do. You just go along and do it, right? Just like you get up and brush your teeth, you just get up and eat Pop-Tarts for breakfast because you always had Pop-Tarts for breakfast. So it's good. So our breakfast has been about the same. We've had eggs and toast, threw some hash in there, threw some Spam in there. My kids don't like either of it like at all. So I'm like, all right. So today I thought I would do something a little bit different. They had breakfast for 1960 and something that came around, the Aunt Jemima bacon strip pancakes. And I know people do it because it was a craze like on the internet here. So, but I've never personally made them at all. So I was reading through here. Get my little internet Google information. They said sugary cereals stake their claim as the breakfast of choice in most American households. So Fruity Loops, this is not the brand Fruit Loops, but I knew I could get a better deal buying the Tutti Fruities. So those came along and were a big staple. So we're gonna have some of that today. Our orange juice in a can was still popular, but we were able to buy a bunch of bottled orange juice for way cheaper than the canned stuff. So we'll be having our bottled orange juice today. And then the fast food drive-through emerged, and inventive recipes advertised by big brands like Aunt Jemima's, Post, and Kraft, many which include bacon. I remember even seeing some like deviled ham pancakes. I don't know. So again, I was trying to choose things that I thought maybe my family would enjoy instead of making something that they're going to be like, that's not good. So I have my big giant package of Smithfield thick cut applewood bacon. So remember we bought these at the discount store. I'm going to just start out by cooking mine in the oven. They probably would have not done that and they would have cooked on a skillet, but I'm going to put on a cookie sheet, bake in the oven, get all of this baked up and cooked. And then after it's cooked, then you mix your pancake batter up. I don't have Aunt Jemima, but I do have Heart Smart biscuit, and it does have a pancake recipe on it. So we'll mix that. You just put your bacon down and pour your pancake batter on it. I don't know, I feel like the kids might like it. We're just gonna have to see how life goes. So are you guys ready for a great 1960s what I ate in a day modern edition? All right, let's go. Let's start baking our bacon now. All right, so my bacon is cooking here, so I'm going to utilize my time and make the dessert that I'm gonna make for 1960 because it takes some time, and then when my oven is empty, I can put in there. So I'm gonna make Pillsbury's Tunnel of Fudge Cake. So this is from the Pillsbury website. It said, this is the most closely identified with the bake-off contest, mysteriously develops a tunnel of fudge filling as it bakes. Don't skimp on the nuts or it won't work. Oh wait, so maybe I need to do nuts in there. All right, to me, like myself, I pictured it being like a cake and you layer like a filling inside, but you actually don't. So I had to Google a couple other recipes, and other people had like, they definitely put like their own spin on it and made like a pudding inside mixture, all these things, but this doesn't. So I'm actually gonna have to make it with the nuts. It was like it was one of those instant packets that they made, and then they discontinued it. So hold on, let me read the comments here real quick. Okay, so reading a little bit, says nuts are essential for the success of this recipe since the cake has a soft filling. An ordinary actually cannot be done. Make sure you do your baking time. So I don't know, we'll be interested. I talked to my mom and she's like, oh yeah, remember the Tunnel of Fudge Cake? I think she made one. It was like a chocolate lava cake, but very similar. So then she said also something that was huge at that time was Texas sheet cake, which I remember very much because she would make it every year for potlucks. Like when we had family reunions, things like that, the Texas sheet cake always went, and it was always a crowd plate, and it's delicious. I was gonna make that, but I knew it made a big pan, and I thought maybe my kids would like the bundt one instead, because I have a bundt pan and I don't use it very often, but when I do, I like the way it looks. So she said that came along really big at that time, and she said donuts. She was like, oh, I remember grandma would bake donuts and deep fry, and she goes, you should do donuts. And I'm like, I just don't like that whole deep fry in the oil kind of thing. I don't know, I feel like there was a few times where we did and I know you can make them in the air fryer, and we do that, where we did like deep fried egg rolls, all that stuff, and I just felt like you were covered in grease when you're done. Like it was just like all over your kitchen and just like all over your skin. So I don't like to deep fry anything. We had a deep air fryer. I don't know, maybe we'll get one day. I just feel like it's one of those things that's just deep fry. So I've never done like the deep fried donuts, haven't done any of that stuff. I know a lot of people do, I just haven't. So she was going through all the different kinds. She's like, oh yeah, and then the jelly filled ones, the cream filled ones, and she was going through how great they were. So I'm gonna do Pillsbury recipe. It's on the Pillsbury website for the Tunnel of Fudge Cake. So I guess I better put walnuts in it just in case I mess this up. So I'm going to put all my ingredients in here. I'm actually going to follow theirs to a T because there's some parts where they say to stir it with a spoon. Why my bacon's cooking? Because it's still cooking. I turned it up to 400, so we'll see how long that takes. So let's just add our ingredients in here. I'll put the recipe on the screen. Okay, bacon's cooking. I'm slowly getting it out of the oven over here. The cake is done mixed up, so I'm gonna put it in my bundt pan. I learned the hard way. I thought you could just spray your bundt pan last time and it wouldn't stick. And then, no, I had that beautiful strawberry one and it stuck all to the cake pan. So my viewers said, usually you gotta flour that too. So I thought, what's the point of flouring? I realized you need that flour in. So I'm gonna put some flour in here, shake this around, dump it out in my sink, and then pour the whole batter in here. I guess we'll just do it like Pillsbury says. Okay, so bacon is done. The cake is in the oven. That's gonna take 50 minutes. It says to watch it. It will start to, like, the sides will pull away, and then it's ready. You take it out. You gotta set. It says timing is all. Oh wait, cool upright in a pan on wire rack for 1.5 hours, and then invert it. Oh, so cool, at least 2 hours. It's a lot of cooling, so I'm glad I got that in there. So this is gonna be the bacon now is cooked, so I'm going to mix up my pancake mix. They did Aunt Jemima because she came around, but I got Bisquick, so Bisquick is it is. So I'm gonna mix my ingredients up here, make a batch, and try these little pancakes out. I'm sure they're great. All right, we're gonna get into making these wonderful, delicious bacon and pancake strips. So my bacon's getting crispy, so I think that's the problem, is you need to have it nice and flat. So I'm going to kind of flatten it out because it's a little crispy. I'm gonna griddle here and put some batter on it, and we're gonna make them and see. All right, that wasn't pretty. It's gonna be trial and error this time, people. This is my first time making these. Obviously, a little bit better scooper, not being messy, should work. So it'll be good. My bacon, some of it, who is a crispy bacon? Anybody a burnt crispy bacon person? That is me. I don't like it flimsy. So the flimsy ones obviously go flatter on the thing. So I like the crispy one and just do a few on here, but we'll see. We'll just let this cook on the side and we'll flip it over. We're gonna see how it goes. I just got the door open because I was cooking all that bacon in here. Made all that smoke in here, so get rid of the bacon smoke. All right, I'm going to show you the reality and the truth behind how food looks. Yeah, that didn't work. I'll try it again in the next batch. I'm sure it's going to be like practice makes perfect. Yeah, I just ruined those. I mean, it's pancakes now, so let's try making perfect ones the next batch round. All right, let's try another attempt. All right, those look a little bit better. We'll see. I'm sure it's delicious. It's just not pretty looking, but it'll be good. We're gonna try to make these. Theirs were like perfect. I'm sure a better scooper, you know, all the necessities. I'm just using a wooden spoon, but we'll see how this works. Right, I think I just discovered I'm a bad flipper. I'm a bad flipper. That's okay. We're just gonna keep cooking them, just mush it all together. All right, so 1960s typical breakfast. Did they have coffee in that? You know what, I was reading that like the instant coffee craze kind of came along. You know, mix water with everything. So that came along, you know, good old Fruit Loop cereal here. And then these things, are these good? Let me try a piece and do it. Would you just dip it? Just dip it, you probably, I don't know if you cut it, you probably just finger food and dip it. Let's try. Let's try. Okay, not bad. Tastes like bacon and pancakes. Not bad. We'll see if the kids eat them or not. So, typical 1960 breakfast. If you didn't have this, you probably had some fresh donuts from grandma or mom, whoever would make them. All right, so cake is still going. Wait about 17 minutes on that. Let's move on to lunch. You know what was popular during this time? There was a lot of this stuff like goes over into the next decade, like Campbell's soup, all those things. But something I found that I thought, I'm like, I don't think my younger set of kids have ever had this. My older ones probably, because we used to buy a lot of tuna fish, but I haven't made tuna noodle casserole in a long time. So our lunch today is gonna be tuna noodle casserole. Oh yeah. That's just gonna be our food for today. That's gonna be delicious and it's gonna be good. So tuna noodle casserole, that's gonna be for lunch. Let me clean up my breakfast mess here and then we'll move on to lunch. All right, tuna noodle casserole. You guys might think, my kids have never had tuna noodle casserole. No, they probably have not. And like I said, hold on one second. I'm not sure why they haven't. I don't buy a lot of fish products. I'm allergic, or haven't, I guess, I don't know. I haven't tried it again, but I know my father is highly allergic to seafood. Highly, where he like gets anaphylactic, is that what it is? So I've had a couple reaction over the years with fish smells, tasting it, so I just avoid it. Like I don't even, it's not like I'm like, oh gosh, don't touch, but I don't even want it. Like it doesn't even seem appealing to me whatsoever. Maybe I could eat it and be fine, I don't know. We did a lot of tuna fish, like way back in the day. The older kids had tuna fish. I remember we used to make a lot of boxed macaroni and cheese, a can of tuna, and a can of peas. I don't know, it was a staple I had when I was first married with kids. It was just an easy throw together lunch. So we ate that a lot. So we probably would have done tuna noodle casserole, and I feel like my kids were just kind of like, whatever. So I'm going to get one package of those. We're just doing small size here. We're gonna let that cook there and watch for it to boil over. But lunches were one of those things that like SpaghettiOs came out into play in the 60s. So I know my kids, like Autumn loves SpaghettiOs. That's something she really enjoys. My older kids probably, I know that they do too, because we grew up eating that SpaghettiOs and ravioli, and that's okay. That's whatever you grew up eating. So this is gonna boil. It's gonna take a minute, obviously, to make this. I have to take 2 cans of tuna, drain it, that, and then cream mushroom soup. I didn't buy Campbell's. I bought Great Value because I'm gonna use it for another recipe here. So that, I think that's all there was. Is that all there was? Let me look. You could also add pimento. I've never done pimento in my food. I didn't grow up eating it, so I just don't put it in anything. And then it's just, they had frozen green peas, which I'm gonna leave out in milk. That's it. So, and then they used to put breadcrumbs with butter on top. Again, we've never done that, but I will do that because I do have breadcrumbs. I'm waiting for that to boil over. We'll just take the lid off there. So it'll be easy to throw together, put it in the oven, and my cake is done. Let me check it. I'm gonna go a few more minutes. It feels a little gushy on top there. It says it's not the traditional, you just gotta go by timing, but I will go a few more minutes just to make sure. So while that's cooking in there, something else that came out hugely was Lipton onion soup and mix. This one is kosher. I didn't like find it in the regular section. It was by the kosher section, so I paid like $3 for this. That's probably a lot, but that's okay. That's all I found. So this was a huge thing for parties, mixing this with sour cream. Nowadays, you can buy French onion dip already made, but we're gonna mix it together. It's still good, and have it with some chips. That'll be a snack today. I know my kids will like this because we do enjoy this, having this. There's also Chex Mix came about. So making your homemade Chex Mix. I've never made homemade Chex Mix, never. And then I know they put peanuts in it. Again, just something I don't know if my kids would love with the peanuts. They probably would, because they probably would enjoy eating it, but I just have never made it. So we buy the Chex Mix with, you know, all the delicious things in it, and they like it that way. But I don't think the Chex Mix doesn't have peanuts in it, does it? I don't think it does. When you buy it from the store, it's got like all the little yummy things, but I don't think there's any nuts in there. Correct me if I'm wrong. So Chex Mix was another thing. I thought I could do that too, but I thought the French onion dip will be good. Ruffles chips came about, so I have myself some Clancy's. I don't know if Clancy's was around, but maybe it was a worker for Ruffles that got tired of something and they decided to make their own. So we're gonna mix that up while this is boiling, and the cake is almost done because it's easy. Sour cream in a bowl with some French onion, stir it up. We're gonna put it in the refrigerator. The more it sits, the better it tastes. Right, I'm sure tuna noodle casserole has many variants to the equation. I know myself, I'm probably gonna add some cheese to this because, let me get that out, because I remember cheese being in here and being delicious. So I'm just gonna add my ingredients: 2 cans of tuna, I've drained it, the cream mushroom soup, some milk. I'm gonna add cheese, salt and pepper, and garlic to add a little bit of flavor because I feel like the blandness is not gonna be very exciting. Are you with me? All right, to me it tastes very bland. I added that other, it was only 1 small can of the cream mushroom soup. I definitely added more, but very bland tasting. Why is that? I don't know. I feel like this should taste like beef stroganoff with some sour cream in there. I'm sure people nowadays put sour cream to soup it up, but I'm gonna leave it the original. You can add frozen peas, which I just wanna make sure I didn't miss anything. And then it's 2 tablespoons of dried breadcrumbs and 1 tablespoon of butter on top. I probably should put peas in here, but I feel like, let me go see if I have some. You know what, we're gonna do peas on the side just in case the kids go, ew, what is this, a green thing inside here? So I don't know, we'll see. It tastes, let's bake it. Maybe the flavor enhances when you bake it. Let me put it in a container and a casserole dish, mix up the breadcrumbs with the butter and pour it on top. I might add Parmesan cheese. I feel like I need to add something to this because it's just kind of plain. Okay, I don't have any Parmesan cheese, so I just put some garlic powder and salt in there. We're just gonna try to soup this up a little bit. It's gonna go in the oven here as soon as the cake is done. I gotta check on that, and then we're gonna move on to dinner. We will present everything as it gets done. Okay, cake is out of the oven. I'm gonna let that sit, guys, for an hour and a half. So you're gonna have to stick around for an hour and a half. Put the tuna casserole in there. I just have to wait till the breadcrumbs brown on top. We're just gonna see how that goes. So the next thing I'm gonna start on is dinner. Dinner's gonna be a little bit easier. Do you know that the meatball craze came into being in the 60s? So Swedish meatballs, like we ate a lot of Swedish meatballs. I remember my mom makes really good Swedish meatballs, and so Swedish meatballs came into play. Like IKEA still sells Swedish meatballs because they're that good. Sweet and sour meatballs, all those good things. They also did like the pigs in a blanket. It's like the whole appetizer kind of tiny thing was a huge thing. Fondue parties. Do you ever remember having a fondue party? Now I've never had fondue until Lauren introduced us when she lived at home here. She had a fondue party and we had a fondue party. That was a lot of fun. So I thought maybe I'll do fondue, and I'm like, you know what, I'll just do Swedish meatballs because we haven't had those in a while, and that will be really good. So I've got hamburger here. I'm just gonna mix up my recipe for Swedish meatballs, and I know it's gonna be delicious. We're gonna bake it and have it. That's gonna be our main part, and I'll do some sides with it as well. So Swedish meatballs, that's what we're gonna make. Delicious. You know, like you go to IKEA, that's what everybody buys because they're that good. Okay, I'm going throwback 1960 meatballs, and you have ground beef, you put an egg in there, onion, garlic, salt, pepper, nutmeg is the key ingredients, and also breadcrumbs, panko, or like saltine crackers. So I have breadcrumbs, and then I'm gonna put some gloves on. Yeah, these are like, I don't like the food gloves because they don't fit. These are ones that you would dye your hair with, but they keep your hands clean. I used to do meat, and I'm like, disgusting, gets all on your nails, and I saw somebody mixing up meat with a glove on it. I'm like, oh, that's the most genius thing in life. So I have a big pack, and that's what I do when I mix my meatballs. So very good. So I'm just gonna mix it all up here in the bowl, add everything, squish it all up, make meatballs. I'm gonna put sometimes you bake them on the skillet on the stove. I hate that because I hate the grease flopping up. I hate that, don't like the grease. I'm gonna put mine in a baking dish, stick them in the oven and bake them. Let them brown, it'll be amazing. You pour off the fat, you make your gravy. It's super simple. So I'm gonna put mine in the oven just to let them bake and get brown. That's easy. That's gonna be an easy little dinner for this evening. The meatballs, I'm gonna do some small potatoes and green beans. There wasn't a lot of sides that I saw. There wasn't like, I mean, people are still eating Jell-O, people are eating quick stuff. The instant stuff was good, but nothing like, wow, that's something they ate. So I just chose to I'm gonna do some mini potatoes and green beans and just steam them. It'll be a super easy side. Maybe the kids will eat it. We're gonna be hopeful. Tuna noodle casserole came out of the oven. It smells really good, so we're just gonna take a little bowl here and try it. I'm sure it's delicious. It smells good. It's one of those things like I haven't had in a long time. I'm sure it's better than I expected it. It's good, the cheese in there looks very pretty. And then peas, I'm gonna do canned peas. Does anybody else like not, like I think that's weird because I know when the kids got married and then their spouses were like, don't you heat up the vegetables on can? And they're like, no, my mom always just fed them to us from the can. So I feel like when I had babies, like I wouldn't do baby food. So what I would do is just get a can of vegetables, like the low salt. I'd open the can and just feed the baby like cut up carrots or cut up green beans or peas. That's just how I did it. So we don't heat up our canned items. Do you guys open up your canned items and heat them up? We don't. So look at this, doesn't look too bad. Let's get a picture and then we'll try it. Okay, something I didn't make with any of these meals is some extra bread. I'm sure, did women slow down in their older age and not make bread as much? I'm sure they did. Okay, let's try. It's not bad. Is it my favorite? No, because I don't really love tuna fish, but not a bad dish. Not a bad dish. My kids might like it. We'll see. So lunch in the 60s, not too bad. Let's keep working on dinner. All right, so in the oven is the potatoes and green beans. I didn't have mini ones. That must have been the last time. So I just cut up the remainder that I have with green beans that were already, like they needed to be eaten up. We ate some yesterday with our shepherd pie and it was good. So I just put it in the oven. We'll let them bake in there and cook with the meatballs. And then we're good. The cake here said it sit for an hour and a half. I feel like that's a long time. Maybe I'm gonna be mistaken, but I'm gonna flip it over on my thing here. We'll see. I'm not gonna force it out. I don't know. I feel like if I wait, it's gonna get cold and stick. I don't know. We're just gonna try it. I need it to look good for the picture. Hopefully it'll be good. Maybe just pour fudgy frosting on top. Okay, it doesn't want to fall out, so we're just gonna leave it there. So slide it aside and leave it there. So the other thing, I'm looking at my list, the other thing I'm gonna make is a wedge salad. Iceberg lettuce came into being in the 60s. I don't know if it was engineered or what, but wedge salad was something that was huge. So you just took a head, chopped it, and you served it with wedge. The recipe I found was like blue cheese, which I will not eat blue cheese dressing. So I thought we could sprinkle with bacon, cheese, and ranch, you know, make our own little wedge salad. But that will be something that we'll have on the side with our dinner tonight. And I'll make that when it gets a little bit closer because it's the wedge pieces you have to have. All nice and neat for that. So first we're just gonna wait for everything to finish cooking. We'll make our gravy for our meatballs. It's gonna be a great day. Early, easy, 1960s. I'm finding that in the kitchen, it's getting less and less time in the kitchen. So they've definitely gotten smarter over the years. And I know I use a lot more gadgets, gizmos than they had, but they got smarter in the years in the kitchen. So they're not stuck here all day long. I'm sure if I did went back before, I think I started in the 30s or 40s, go back before, you would spend your whole day in the kitchen. I know you would, so. Because my first one was in the kitchen all day, so it's good. All right, we're just gonna wait for things to keep cooking, and we're gonna just keep going. So what we're gonna do is just let the meatballs are cooking in there. It's easy, no mess. You can do it on the stove, it just makes the greasy stuff. So it's cooking, veggies are cooking, my cake is still warm, sitting in the pan. It's not coming out. I don't know if it will as it cools. I don't know, I just don't wanna pull it. We're just gonna be hopeful and patient. So wait on this, then we'll make more in a little bit. My meatballs are done in the oven. What I'm gonna do is make my gravy. There is a lot of ways you can make this. I'm just utilizing what I have. So I'm gonna put some brown gravy mixed in here with some water, whisk it, and put some cream mushroom soup. You can make your own by using beef broth, water, and a little bit of onion in there, but again, we're just using what we have. Add some salt and pepper and cream mushroom soup, it'll be delicious. Okay, I added a lot of beef gravy. I was using it up, so I feel like that was a lot of beef gravy in there. I think this is gonna be a big batch of stuff. It is. I probably will just do half of this and then freeze the rest. Ouch. That's hot, because that's a lot of gravy that's not necessary, because that's just a tiny small container. So this is good. I added beef gravy, which I had a lot. Cream mushroom soup, and I actually added a little bit of sour cream to kind of balance it out, but just basically put this in the oven. It's gonna be good. So this will go in the freezer. We'll use it for another beef dish. Okay, so we're doing really good. Been visiting grandma's here this week, so doing some visiting. So I'm trying to get some filming in while they're gone. I had changed my apron because I got gravy on it. I have 2 extra containers of gravy. These are gonna go in the freezer, which will be nice. Tunnel of fudge cake. I don't know what is with my bundt pan. Maybe I need some assistance. Give me some tips of how to get the cake out, because I'll show you. It tastes good. Yep, not so pretty. So that's okay. Real life, I would love for. I've made them before and they've came out. Like we made pistachio one and it came out good. How come this is not? I don't know. But we're gonna make the fudgy topping for this. So fudgy topping is why the meatballs are in the oven, and then we'll show a picture of everything. Be delicious. Chocolate fudge on top will make it taste delicious, right? It'll make everything better. All right, now for the chocolate to, you know, disguise the messy holes in my cake. It's all good. In real life here, people, this is what happens. I made them before, just these are sticking. I don't know, so let's just pour this on. So then something else that came out in the 60s that I remember eating as a kid, this was something extra. I thought my kids have never had these before, but we grew up every single week. I don't know what day we had it, maybe Thursday night, I don't know. Did anybody else, you ready for this? I know you have. Who else has had TV dinners? Oh yes, TV dinner. So I was like, do they still even make these anymore? So now they're the Hungry Man ones. I remember back in the day they were just regular, and then they had like Hungry Man. I remember my dad getting the Hungry Man one, but this is all I could find. So we would have, I remember the Salisbury steak one as a kid, and the other one I think it was turkey breast. Basically it was lunch meat with gravy, and I think it had stuffing and apple pie. Now I remember saw that one too, but this is what I found, boneless fried chicken. This is what my Walmart carried. So I'm gonna make these in the oven. I feel like you peel it back and do the, yeah, don't you, oh, actually you can go in the microwave too. Can you, oh, you can put it in the oven. Yeah, this will be interesting. We'll pull it back, we leave film on part of it. I'm gonna bake this and my kids can try it for lunch. I thought that would be a fun, or like their snack today, just to see if they like the nice TV dinner. So we're gonna try these and see how they go. Okay, bad thing is these take an hour in the oven. Oh my goodness. You can put them in the microwave. That's just a long time. All right, we're gonna cook these for a good long hour, and I'll be back to see in a little bit. A hungry meal that satisfies. It's got brownie and chicken and, oh yeah, oh look at, that's like a step off, not bad. So I think it says just remove the plastic from, remove film from brownie, slit over chicken, bake on center rack. So this, it's just basically, it's a freezer meal. It's a freezer meal. Right here, this is what we make, right? But we just do family size ones. That's so funny. And then this one is Salisbury steak. I don't know, is that gonna be good? Has this got a brownie in it too? It's a brownie. All right, we're gonna take these off. I'm gonna put them in the oven and just bake them for an hour just to try it and see how they go. So fun. Like I think I had I didn't like apple pie, and I remember mine had the apple pie, and I would always trade it out for, I don't even know what it was. Maybe it was a brownie. I don't remember, but I remember fighting over which TV dinner you wanted to have. Who else had TV dinners? Let me know in the comment section. We'd have TV dinners on our TV trays. So meatballs are done. Let me put this in there. All right, that's what's gonna take the longest, is an hour in the oven, but I definitely don't have to do any food prep. So I'll get you a plate of dinner, what it looks like. I'll get you a snack with some chips and dip and delicious cake that doesn't look very appealing, but I'm sure it'll be delicious. That's okay. I was a failure on the tunnel of fudge cake. So wedge salad was a huge thing because these whole round lettuces like came into play. So everybody was having wedge salads all the time. So blue cheese dressing was a big thing, but my family never ate that, so I'm okay with that. So they would make some with like Miracle Whip and like sugar and that kind of thing, but we're just gonna use good old ranch in ours. So just gonna make a nice little wedge salad for our plates. All right, moment of truth, how the meatballs taste. This is really good. Just, you can dip your potatoes in the gravy. Delicious. That's good. Will my kids eat it? I don't know. I think Grandma will, because she likes meatballs. So this will be our 1960s dinner. Okay, so for the French onion dip, I know it's delicious. A lot thicker than the store French onion dip for sure. Way tastier on the homemade. A lot thicker, like, you know, French onion dips are real watery. Real thick. Delicious on the French onion. The cake doesn't look very appealing, but we're gonna, I mean, it looks good. It just doesn't look like tunnel of fudge cake like the original recipe is, but we'll try. Bad. Tastes like a chocolate cake. Actually tastes like Texas sheet cake that I did not make. I feel like it's the same kind of thing. So not bad on these. So we're just gonna wait on, I'm gonna have my stuff there, the lunch, the dinner, and we're gonna do the TV dinners. Those are gonna take like an hour to make. So we'll be back in a little bit to show you and try the delicious TV dinners. We've been chatting away with Grandma, so TV dinners are done. So here's the great reveal. TV dinners are done. They don't look too bad. I feel like I'm gonna try the Salisbury steak because that's what I would have chose as a kid eating it. Let me take a little piece of that. Not bad at all. So TV dinners here, not bad for a 1960s dinner. All right, I came outside. You know what that means? Animals are running in a fury. Welcome to my life. So fun. So we are inside visiting with Grandma. So we're chitting and chatting and talking. So she was telling me more about her 1960s. She said the McDonald's was big. That came in, she said, right when the end when her and Papa were dating. And she said like the drive-in places, like I think Sonic's, they might do that too, like where they, and A&W used to do this. I don't know if they do anymore. I don't know if Sonic's, because I don't eat at Sonic's, but I feel like you pull up to the little booths outside, and then they probably don't come in roller skates like they used to, but my mom said they would come out with roller skates on, and then they would come out and take your order and then roller skate back inside. So that was big in the 60s. She said that, go-go boots, all that fun stuff. So we had a little memory lane trip from her little childhood, her teenage years. So she said it was like fast food. She said shakes. She goes more like milkshakes, like chocolate and vanilla and strawberry was really big. So that was something big in the 60s. So she was looking at the food. She's like, okay, not bad. The kids all looked at the breakfast, they ate that. They didn't mind that. They liked that. The tuna noodle casserole, no child. They took a bite of it. They did not like that at all. They're like, nope, I don't like that. So dinner, the meatballs and the potatoes, green beans, and the wedge salad, that was delicious. They did eat that. That was more, don't mind dogs. That was more normalized, so that was good. And the chocolate cake, they said that wasn't too bad. They said it wasn't like grape. Then I saw kids kept going back to it and eating more and more, so they didn't think it was that bad. Chips and dip, you know, you can't go wrong on those foods. So it's fun. It's been a fun adventure. I just know my kids don't like tuna noodle casserole. I'll never make that again. So I hope you enjoyed today's video on the 1960s foods and a little bit of history here and there, tucked in little tidbits. You guys have a fantastic, I'm talking fantastic rest of your day. Remember, you are designed, created, and selected by God to do great things in this earth. And once you figure out what that purpose and plan is for you, it's an amazing, amazing adventure. So have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you guys again tomorrow with another video. All right, see you tomorrow. Bye.